Hey there, clarinets. Here's our first video on getting our first few notes. We're gonna go over how to put the clarinet together again, just in case you've forgotten or in case anything seems weird. So I'll go piece by piece here, and then we're gonna get down our first few notes. Remember, you're always gonna open up your clarinet case, always gonna be on a flat surface, always with the lid going up. Make sure it's the right way. It should only fit in there one way, nice and easy. You've got the 5 main pieces. You've got your bell. You've got your barrel. Looks like a barrel. You've got your mouthpiece. Those are the top and bottom ends of that. And then you got your 2 big pieces. You got the biggest of those pieces, which is your lower joint. That's the one with all the extra little pinky keys there. And then you've got your upper joint. It's the smaller, thinner of the 2. And it's got a bunch of little keys on the side. That's how you can kind of tell those 2 apart. The upper joint also has this little teardrop key, your A key, so that can help you tell those apart as well. We're gonna start by putting the bell on the lower joint. And you've all should have cork grease by now. Remember, if you don't, if it's tough to put that at all on, you wanna put the cork grease on your cork here, and you rub it on there a little bit, doesn't take much, and then you've gotta rub it in. You gotta take your hands and physically rub that grease into the cork. And then you obviously wash your hands off, dry them off. But that'll help keep that, so it should go on really smoothly. If you have to, it's never good. Just twist a little bit and it should slide right on. Mine obviously needs a little more cork grease. So that, once you've done that, you can set that down. And we're gonna put the barrel and the mouthpiece together. That's really easy. The barrel, there's a small end and a larger end. They're pretty similar, but your mouthpiece will only fit in one end. If it slides all around, that's the wrong end. But same thing, it should just twist in, nice and easy. If it's too tough, then again, use your cork grease, smear it on there, rub that on, and you'll be good to go for that. Let me turn this back here. And then we're gonna put the barrel and the mouthpiece together onto the upper joint. So do it the right way. You don't want it to go on the part down here with the bridge key and stuff. I mean, obviously it won't work. It doesn't fit. It's too big for that. But you also can bang up that key. Same thing up here with this cork. Anywhere you have cork, if it doesn't slide really easy and fit nicely, then you need to use that cork grease. So same thing, you're gonna just put it on a little bit, and then you're gonna just gently push and twist. And if it takes too much effort, then you need some more cork grease. Once your barrel's on, you don't really ever need to move that. Your mouthpiece should probably move really easily, and you can adjust that side to side so that it fits right. Once you've got those 2 big pieces put together, now we're just down to 2 pieces. This is the tricky part. This is the part where you gotta be careful. Remember, you're gonna make sure that this bridge key, this key underneath here that moves up and down, and this key over here that moves up and down, those 2 need to not hit each other when you put your clarinet together. So to do that, you're gonna hold down this 3rd ring, your 3rd finger ring, and that lifts that key up. You're gonna hold that down while you put this piece together and make sure you don't lift this one up. You don't wanna push these ones down. So you don't have to be super delicate with this, but you can't reef on it. But a lot of people I see, they're like, oh, I don't wanna touch it. You're gonna have to use a little bit of pressure, but make sure you're holding that up. And again, if it doesn't slide really easy, lots of cork grease on this one, because it should slide really easy, and that way you don't have to use a lot of pressure. And you just push and twist, and those 2 keys should line up nicely. Oops, sorry, get this right. That one should be on top of that without ever having touched. And then you should be good to go. And if your clarinet's lined up right, you'll see all 6 keys in a row. You'll see those bridge key will be nice and lined up. There should be even little lines on it so you can tell usually if it's lined up. But if you see these way off, you know, if it looks like that and your keys aren't lined up, then something's wrong and you gotta check that joint again. So once you're all set up there, you are ready to go. While you're doing this, I should have said that, you should be soaking your reed while you're setting this all up. I already have mine on because I was already playing, but we will soak it up again anyway. Remember, you got to get it wet for about a minute. Like I said, mine's already been soaking because I've already been playing, so I don't need to get it wet for a minute, but I'm going to soak it a little bit again anyway. And the trick, you'll know it's ready if you've soaked it for about a minute. If you look at the very tip, the tip there, it's hard to see on this camera, but there shouldn't be any warping. The wood shouldn't be wavy at all in there. If the wood's wavy, you didn't get it wet enough. New reeds won't usually do that at all, but once you've played on it for a while, they'll start to get a little bit wavy, and that's when you know you need to wet it a little more. So then when you're done, remember you've got this all put together, your ligature's already on here so that you don't accidentally jam it in there. Let's see if I can turn this way and show you. And then remember, you're gonna just slide the reed in between the ligature and the mouthpiece. Slide it in there with the flat part down, so the flat part is facing away from you. And it should line up perfectly along those rails. And you want to slide it so it's just about at the tip. Just a tiny bit of the mouthpiece showing there. And make sure that it lines up nicely down here. So you need to make sure that it lines up down here too, that the butt, this end of the reed, the flat part lines up in between the rails here. It should line up perfectly with that. And then at the tip, you want it to be so there's just a tiny bit of mouthpiece showing over the reed there, just a tiny little bit. And this should be straight all the way up, and the tip should curve exactly with that. And then you're ready to make some noise. And you've hopefully already been making noise on those mouthpiece drills that I sent you on Canvas. So if you're getting those and you're getting those right pitches, then you're ready, and that means your embouchure set. Remember, your embouchure, you want that wee, two, or ew, actually we say more for the reeds. Ew, nice tight corners here, nice flat chin, and your upper lip is kind of like your little chipmunk. You want all this to be nice and secure. That's what's going to hold the mouthpiece in. If you don't, then you're just going to go, you're going to get all sorts of funky sounds, whether you're clarinet or sax or anything. So have that stuff nice and tight. Remember, your reed's just going to slide over your bottom lip till it hits your top teeth. And then it's where you know to stop. And then you use your lips and kind of just seal around it. If you get air coming out your sides, that's a bad thing. That means you just don't have things tight enough here. Don't sweat it, but just slightly close those down. And all your air should go through the reed, through the mouthpiece. If it's coming out anywhere else, then you got to change that embouchure, change that lip muscles there. Just a nice, no airy sound. So our first three notes we're gonna do, clarinets, it's tricky because you got all these holes to cover. The nice thing is your fingers always cover a hole. Your 6 fingers and your thumb always cover a hole. If they're not covering a hole, then something's in the wrong place. So make sure you cover 1, 2.
Mr.